Welcome to the final episode of this series. We're about to jump into Maya and add some lighting. We've modeled and sculpted our character, and we've added our UVs, and we've put textures on them and materials. Now we're gonna export that geometry and all of those texture maps into Maya and create some lights and place this character into a realistic feeling environment and do a turntable, and then that would initially be sent off to a rigging department and rigging and animation, and then compers, and you see it on screen. You'll see your creature alive, moving around, probably eating some things or getting its head blown off, hopefully. That's what I like to see. So we jump here into Maya, and there's a bit of a setup for the look dev side of this. So I create some simple objects like a backdrop. It's just like a plane, so the character is standing on something and not floating in space. And then I create some Maya lights and a Maya camera. So that's like I have a frame of like what the shot will be for the character doing the spin for the render. And I would open up the hypershade and add some materials, create some materials, and then assign those materials to the appropriate parts of the character. In some cases, characters have multiple materials because of he's like wearing a jacket, or like got like standing on a wood floor, or his eyeballs, or his hair, or just anything. He's wearing like armor. In Maya, those shaders, they're called shaders and materials, and those are created using the textures that you've either painted or created in substance or whatever texturing package that you're using. And you apply that into the shaders, apply that to the appropriate part of the characters accordingly, and then you light it and you start rendering. And I usually start with a basic environment dome, HDRI, and just to see if the character's got some even lighting. And then I like to do a 3-point lighting setup, kind of like studio setup, or just like think of it as how you would typically set up a product shot. It's like very basically, put your 3 cameras and your angles where you want them, that like best highlights your character's features. And then the look dev process begins. You're set up your environment, you've placed your lights, your character is there with all the materials and the textures, and you start the rendering. And there's a couple things to look out for when you're rendering, like, is it coming in clear enough? Are all your maps working? And then there's like a whole troubleshooting side of this, because of very rarely does everything just plug in and work exactly how you want it. There's typically like extra steps for how you want things to feel and look. So it gets very particular in this stage, and you're honing and dialing it in. It's usually several people taking a look at it at this point and deciding how the character should feel and look. It's starting to get into the more interpretative like aspect, but very technical. This part of the setup can be pretty intense sometimes, depending on where the movie was set or what's happening in the movie or the game or the show. Is like, whether is it really dark? How do you make this character look good in that kind of lighting? That's what this look dev part of the process is for. It's a whole lot of complications in there. But at the end, it's very, very satisfying. You get like the finished product, the character's ready to go off to rigging and animation, and like really pretty, and it's the juice. It's the juice. If you're ever stuck getting your renders to work and set up, don't be afraid to reach out to like online forums and just like anywhere you can get it, because of a lot of that stuff isn't necessarily like explained too clearly, and digital packages are like constantly updating and changing. So yeah, like somebody might have one way to do it and it's not working how you imagine. So just keep looking and keep asking. Don't be afraid. Yeah. Thanks for watching. My name is Lamarcus Harvey again, and if you guys wanted to see more work, check out my Instagram, and it was a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in.